All right, looks like I've got everything live, and it's time. Oh, wait, I'm missing something, aren't I? Oh, let me turn off the camera real quick. Camera. There's something a little bit wrong here. It won't show up now, but it will later on. Well, let me get just 1 second. Much better. If it wasn't. Oops. Is that what we're doing? Yeah. If it wasn't me, I've always have the one problem. All right. Well, also it looks like my camera's a little bit off, isn't it? Weird. 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 Yeah, it didn't. It saved the setting, but it didn't proc the setting. Oh, really? It does that sometimes. It's a weird little camera. Yeah, all of a sudden, all my exposure stuff is off. I don't know why. Oh, too much six. Okay. All right, I'll get us through now. It's just one of those things where I checked it before and then I reloaded it, and it just it is what it is. But that's not important, is it? We're here for Notes to Strike a Chord, and what that means is that I am going to sit here and I am going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons Online for the next hour, and I invite you all to ask questions about anything and everything that you would like. Now, I am going to start off tonight with, unfortunately, a commercial. I'm not getting enough work. And while where I am actually looking for another job, I do have to get through the summer. So we bought Sharn when it really looked like my work was going to come in as much as it normally did, you know. But we are now facing a deficit for the summer, and I don't really require or expect my viewers to come up with it. But once again, if you like the content, if you like hanging out with me, anything you can donate would be great. I've got to get the top seal on my van fixed because it won't pass California emissions otherwise. That's going to be about a $350 layout, which I don't have. If it doesn't pass smog, they might be able to fix it, but I don't know if I'll be able to go to my mechanic. They might make me go to their mechanic, and they always. I'm sorry, my guy works out of his garage. He does it because he truly enjoys working on cars. Loves to help out friends and family, and I'm hoping he can just get to my car. But he also has a regular job, and good old Les, he ain't a spring chicken either. So he's got his own family. So I'm just kind of hoping it can get taken care of. And anybody that can help, that would be truly, truly appreciated. I'm hoping to get a little bit of extra money, but that depends on people keeping a promise after I kind of broke mine. I got really depressed. Those of you who are in the know why, and I'll cover that in a later one. But let's just say that this has been probably the worst month I've had since, I'm going to go all the way back to like 1992. So it's been a hard times, guys. Hard times. That being said, to get my mind off of it, we're going to talk. And tonight's topic is about crafting or grinding. It's about gear. Let's put it that way. It's about gear. Because the better your gear, the tougher the challenges you can face. And some of these missions, some of these areas are extremely tough, even on normal at level. They've always done that. DDO has always had like two tiers of dungeons. The normal at level dungeon where reasonable gear can get you through. And then they've had the hard ones, where even if it says normal, it's really like other other quests on hard or elite. And you probably can think of some of them off your head. I mean, Ravenloft is pretty challenging at level at anything over normal. We especially on elite. Elite is kind of a pump up with with Ravenloft. I haven't really tried Sharn at level yet. I just kind of basically kind of went through it, kind of got a feel for it because I'm more of a story oriented guy than like I have that challenge right off the bat and suss everything out. I'd rather go in, see how the mechanics work, and then go in on a tough level prepared. And that's just me. You're different. You're different. It's fine. Shavarath. Oh, so it's still Shavarath today. Anything in Shavarath is still quite the challenge. Epic Shavarath, Shavarath 2. They're all really kind of tough things. Sorry, I needed my tea. But the thing is that good gear can get you through that. So we're going to look at both styles of getting gear. We're going to look at crafting gear, and then we're going to look at grinding gear. Now, before, I've already covered this once, and before, the biggest problem with grinding gear is that it was all scattered over so many levels that you'd have to like swap out a piece at 4, at 5, at 6, at 7, and you could get like a range, but then you're at level 7, you want to retool, you're still pulling out your 4 and 5 gear, and you think, well, why isn't there something better at 7? Or whatnot. And so, crafting gear, and we'll go ahead and take a look at that, because I am on Sergey. And he is my multiple lifer, and he is wearing my grinding gear, or my level grinding gear. This is all crafted. Okay, I switch gear at levels 5, level 10, level 15, level 21, and if I need to, level 27. Level 28 on Argo because I made a mistake. So I cover all the bases. I have intelligence on the eyes, and it gets deadly. Wisdom on the helm. It's spot. It's always good to have spot no matter who you are. Hardy, you get constitution and false life. This is really important. On the neck. You can't really do anything with trinkets right now, which is kind of a bum. Charisma and natural armor on the cloak. Death block and double strike. Well, I really need to make a double shot belt too for my rangers. Striding and protection's kind of expensive. It takes serious crafting to get prot shards. My gloves I do not craft. I have a set of just. Obviously, I craft like trapping gear, but there's nothing that goes on the gloves. Usually for my melees, this is the charged gauntlets, because charged gauntlets are indeed awesome. The next I have guard and dexterity on the booties, wizardry and sheltering on the other ring, and dodge, strength, and parrying on the bracers. And parrying is optional. It's you gotta have the mark of Canis, and it's kind of expensive too to craft. But if you can do it, why not? All of these I'm saved. Can also put insightful of all of their stat items, except you have to put insightful strength, not on the bracers, but over here on the belt. I literally ran out of materials when I made the gear, so my level 21 set, perfect. Level 15, when I grind out enough gear, level 15 will be the next one to be upgraded. Then my level 10, and then I will finally get to the level 27 Kyber gear. Now, you may ask, well, why wait? Why don't you have level 27s? Well, That's where it gets interesting, because 21 gear is good enough to get me to 30. Hey, Fargonaut. 21 is good enough to get me to 30, especially if I have good armor. And it's pretty easy to get good armor. You know, level 27 Emerald Guard kicks in. And that takes care of all my medium and heavies. For light armor wearers, 25, I have on Kyber so many Epic Elite Whisper Chains. I am not exactly starving for good mid end leveling armor. All right, and you can even craft a relatively decent armor at 21 if you have to. But this brings up the point. Do you need to do this anymore? And I would argue you need level 5 gear. But if you can't craft level 5 gear, it's no longer a worry, because you can get to level 10 pretty easy, even on Heroic Elite. Especially if you have some things like VIP or an Elite Unlock, you're already on your 3rd life. And then we get to, finally, the solution that they had for all of the idea that, you know, you are mixing and matching items from a huge scale of level ranging. And for this, I'm going to need to switch to a different character. Okay, now, oh, Bleep Bloop. Let's see what my Bleep Bloop is. Hey, all right, thank you DDS Central for the retweet. Why is crafting no longer supreme? Well, let's take a look at that. We're going to switch over to Red Array, because Red Array was the last one I had it all on. Now, the old problem with grinding gear is it all used to be bind a character on equip. You got it per character, and that was great if you're running one and only one TR tune. But to carry all the gear that you need to get to even level 20, scattered all over those level ranges, it's totally awkward. And you might literally not have the space to do it. But they solved that at level 10. Now, I can't show you the level 10 because I ain't got it over here. I don't. I'm working on it over on Argo. I think I have almost the full set. But it solves level 10 and it solves endgame. I don't worry about trying to craft level 34 gear. I was thinking about it. But I don't have to anymore. It's not even feasible. First off, all level 34 shards that I would need to get, I can't craft level 34. I'm not to level 340. And I probably won't be. I kind of stopped at like level 290. But it also takes out an outrageous amount of purified dragon shard elements. So how do we solve this? Well, now grinding is now an equal to Kenneth crafting. They complement each other. Because you can get level 10 and at endgame all this gear. And unlike old gear, it's not bound to character on equip. It's bound to account. This gear set I share among all of my tunes. Every single one of them. All of them get to share. And let's take a look at what we've got here. Remember, we've got to hit all 6 stats. So let's see what we've got. Alright, I have the legendary symphonic lenses. Well, there's charisma. I also get perform, and that's not that big of a deal. But it also has feet mobility, which is really nice. Especially on, say, my Artificer here. He's got the... Yeah, I think he's only got the mithril body, I think. Well, let's check. We can check that, right? C. He might have the full beefy. I have no idea what they would be under martial. Nope. Defensive, fine, favor, combat, basic maybe? Special? not Artificer. Combat style, single weapon fighting. Do I not have it? I thought I took it because I could. Oh, proficiencies. It'd be under proficiency, right? You're kidding me. I didn't. He's what? I really thought I took adamantine body. Well, it says my max death bonus is 5. That would suggest I have mithril body. Or no, adamantine body, right? 5? To the expansions? Huh. I would have expected to be under proficiencies. Oh, there it is. Racial feat. Yeah, I get an adamantine body, but I get the mobility. See, it's right there. I didn't take it. And so for for nothing, I get 2% dodge bonus, and I'm using the legendary memory of fine regalia, so I get plenty of fort too. So we've got charisma. Use the heart and hide. It's quality Constitution 14. Quality magical sheltering and insightful fortification. I've got, look at that. I got all the fortification. All the fortification I need. All right. Intelligence and quality constitution. Nice. Also Death Ward Mass. Always nice to have when you don't take the right hireling. Symbol of Slain of Lords. That gives me insightful constitution and true saying. Look at my con. That's freaking ridiculous. Well, there's my basic constitution, but I also get double strike and dodge. The braided cut cord gives me the dexterity, and of course I gotta have the blurry. Hi, Rolona. Thanks for dropping in. Wisdom and quality wisdom on the chieftain. Look at that. Charge gauntlets. You've got nothing else to put there. Charge gauntlets gives you an extra 10 to 60 electric damage. At level 5 to whatever, I still use them. You can't. I wish there was a Thunderstruck glove. Oh, please do that. Bring that over. This is mainly for Ghostly. I would like to have something, and Insightful Charisma is nice too. But it's mainly here for the Ghostly and for my bards. The Ring of Power gives me melee alacrity, quality strength, armor piercing. And finally, my strength goes on the bracers. So I literally get everything. I have all my stats well above 30. The lowest one's 35 on wisdom on this character. Wiz was his dump stat. I think he started out with wisdom 6. Well, let's see. Base was 8. Okay, 8. I didn't take anything off. Tough. See, look at that. Because I did kind of pick this set mainly for my Bard Alice thing, because with all that charisma, then obviously he's much more powerful. And he's the one I think needed the most help. But there's something in this set for everybody. I got Double Strike, I've got, Spell Power. There's everything there, and I can share them among all my tunes. No crafting needed, because in the Ravenloft set, and added on to with Mines of Tethamar and Age of Rage, I knew I'd come to it. Everything's there. So why would I craft level 30, level 34 gear? Well, there's no reason to. I can get better gear with more effects, even if I try to make insightful. That at endgame I'm not going to need it. Now, I can also do this same gear setup at level 10. Slave Lords, the symbol is level 8. Everything else would be level 10. So I've got level 10 covered without the need for crafting. All I got to do is run Ravenloft over and 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 over again. And if I didn't have any crafting, that would be what I'd need to do. Now I'm still using my level 10 crafting set for the simple fact of the matter is I have the crafting to do it. It's not that much weaker. And maybe I'll replace it after I do all my leveling and I get all this same gear just from the quests I'm doing. But if you don't have any crafting, that level 10 Ravenloft / Age of Rage / Slaver set like this is just so much easier to get, especially if you say roll up an iconic just to grind this stuff out for your leveling character. So that's really where the divide is. Now, I haven't been able to take a good look at the gear because it's not up on the wiki yet, and I really hate scrolling through the forum posts about all the gear that's available here in Sharn. I like the way the wiki's got it set up. The point is now there's a level 15 bound to account set that might be available through Sharn. Now, I'm looking at all the gear, and it seems like it's more like to complement what you get in Ravenloft. So, say, he's an artificer, so intelligence is his main stat, and he's more of a spellcasting, ranging kind of guy. Well, he's a melee guy. So I could use certain items out of Sharn to boost his intelligence even more, boost his melee power even more, boost his spellcraft even more, while maybe getting his dump stat the heave ho. I mean, obviously, I don't need too much charisma on a Warforged, int-based caster artificer. It's not needed. Kind of came in handy, but it's not needed. And this really kind of, this idea that we're going to give you guys two ways to go is, I think, now a core strength of Dungeons & Dragons Online. While you're building up crafting, you can use Ravenloft shared gear / Sharn shared gear. And then when you get to crafting, you can fill that gap between 10 and endgame, or 15 and endgame, with maybe a crafted set of early epic gear at level 21. I really think that's just kind of an amazing thing to do. All right, so after that little talk, do I have any questions from the audience? I know I see DDO account, Demetrius, Fargonaut, Noquar, Verlona. Oh, yeah, there's Verlona. And a couple other people have talked before. And my usual batch of bots and lurkers. Now, this really only covered like 30 minutes. And so, obviously, if I don't get any questions, we're going to compare the last two expansions as well. What if you have no access to any of that content? That's why I said it's good to have two ways to go, Fargonaut. You should build up your crafting. All you need to do to craft Sergei's gear to that quality is to get to, I think, 150 crafting. You won't get the prot shard. You won't. The prot shard's expensive, but you just get slotted gear to turn into your gear, your crafted gear, and you can always slot a sapphire protection. Anybody can get one of those pretty easy. Crafting gear, if you don't have the expansions, crafted gear is definitely the way to go. As you work your way up, just grind up your little things into the hopper. On a big crafting weekend, go on a splurge and just craft some shards. Maybe take an extra time to craft level 5 shards, level 10 shards, level 15 shards, level 21 shards. That way you have them already when you go to craft. And by the time you get to level 21 shards, you should be able to craft. And I know you have to get collectibles and whatnot. And that's the other thing. You got to, if you're going to invest in crafting, you got to sniff every sparkly flower. And there are some great guides on where to find the Pacific collectibles you'll need. So even if you don't have access to the content, that means you don't have to be left out of the Good Gear TR train. I would recommend, and I should post this on, maybe I'll make a guide, maybe I'll make a visual picture guide. That's what I should do, of what I think should go on every slot. That way you ensure that you get a good, shareable, generic, but still strong set of gear to last you through all of your TRs. I know, Fargonaut, that you don't have much of this. It's always good to remember, but crafting is grindy, but it is free and it delivers specific results. There's not like, oh, I gotta go do this quest. Oh, I drew one of the other 3 items that it dropped, but not the 4th one what I wanted. Trust me, I've been there. You know, I gave away my first key lock ring, legendary key lock ring, thinking, oh, this must be pretty common. I got it on the first try, and then it took me like 6 months to get my second. Oh my lord, that was a pain in the butt. But did I worry about it all that much? No, because I had already invested in crafting and had not level 22, but level 21 spot, search, disable device, open lock. It's just convenient to only have to switch out one ring, you know, at end game. But I had them. And in addition, I think at level 34, I could probably even get higher. I think I can get all the way up to plus 25, but as everybody knows, if you max out your intelligence, and I've done that on just about Artificer and Rogue I've ever had, you're not going to need that much. I think, well, let's take a look at good old right here. My int is 57. That means skills. My disable device, without the key lock ring on, is still 66. With the key lock ring, it's 88. And that's 22? Yeah. So 25, really, the different. I don't know if I ever encounter a trap that's going to be at level 91. You can't get Vorpal shards. You cannot get any Vorpal effect. Unfortunately, that's random. But you can, unlike the random gen, where they get you back, is unlike the random gen weapons, where you only can get critical effect shards or critical effects like Heartseeker or whatnot, where it has to have a confirmed critical before it goes off, and it does go off big. You can get a far more steady damage curve. Do I have anything like that on Red Array? I do not think so. Red Array has a lot of junk. I might have something in the bank. Where's the bank? Where is El Banco? That's the vendor. Auctioneer, mailbox. Thanks. So it's down here. Yeah, I just like jumping off of things here in Sharn. Let's see if I have anything in the good old Banco. Do I have it? No, 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 no. Oh, right there. Okay. So at level 10, I have crafted, I found one with a red augment slot. I have crafted a Vampirism 1, so I get a little bit of I get 1 or 2 hit points back every shot. Coruscating 3, so 3d6 light damage. Piercing 3, 3d6 piercing damage. Now, admittedly, a Heartseeker weapon, when it goes off, gets, this is what, 3d6, possible plus 18. Something with Heartseeker 3 would get 11 to 66. But they only get that 5% of the time. I get this all the time, of every single shot. So unless it's immune to either light damage or piercing damage, I'm going to be always ahead of the curve. Vorpal things you're still going to have to get from Rando Gen. But in all honesty, Vorpal is a lot more generous nowadays, and it seems to show up many times with good effects on it. Well, we can see that too, can't we? Auctioneer. I would love to play a clip from the Auctioneer, but then I would get locked out on the YouTubes. When I do the exports, open the auction house, type in the word Vorpal. We've got Shattermantle. That's okay. This is really good. Look at this. Sovereign Vorpal with double shot 8. That's not half bad. I'd take that. Vorpal with critical piercing. Vorpal with Assassinate. That's good if you have something with Assassinate. Critical slashing. Look at that. Look at all this good stuff. I mean, yeah, level 30. I could see myself wielding this. I would need a red augment slot on it myself because I'm ahead of the curve. And obviously at level 30, you've got Morning Lord, Thunder Forge, Epic. What is it? Epic Spinal Tap is great for humanoids. Usually your named items are going to work a little bit better, but not every weapon has something there for it. 19, awesome. Almost ready for epics. And I know you don't have much content, but even then you get Lords of Dust. That's good for running. Right, yeah. I hope we can finish that off for you because I know that you need that pass right. Probably goes off. I hope you were able to find some Shavarath groups then to make use of that pass. If not, maybe there's something we can do. I just ran all of Sharn today, so just to pick up more DDO points. I made a lot, so. Also, I wanted to see what the effects are. Any other questions about gear and crafting? Now, this is going to be a relatively spoiler-free talk about Sharn and Ravenloft. I'll go into in-depth on the quests more, but the first thing I kind of want to bring up, barring any other questions, is how interesting the art style is. And Ravenloft was done very well, but it's Ravenloft. It has a 4-color palette. There's black, dark gray, dark blue, blood red. That's it. That's all you get. It's not. All the quests are dark except for the pool and sunrise. Even Yesterhill's kind of gloomy. And I know that's part of the setting. I get that. I totally get that. That being said, sell level 9 wrist drop. Level 9 wrist. Oh. Okay. Yeah, you never know about the drops, and you might want to scour the auction house for see if you can find one. If you ever need plat, let me know on Kyber. On Kyber, plat's not an object for me. I don't care. I don't mind helping people out. So just send me a note on the Twitters or through the in-game mail on Kyber, and I should be able to throw down something. Just tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Now, when we look at Sharn, it's really, really attractive. I asked for a lot of things, and for all honesty, I got most of them. Better docent at 16. There's a good docent in Spinner of Shadows. It's level 16. And at 20, I can almost certainly grind out for you an ancient gemstone. That would be no problem. Now, here we're on, where are we? The middle something or other. Cliff top towers, middle cliff top towers. So we're kind of looking over to the central section. And we do get basically all the levels and areas that I thought we would see when I did my shard strings. I knew we had to be in Cliffport because that's where you come in. The cogs are too good of an adventure to pass up. Middle Memphis appears in a couple of quests. So does, well, it ends in that section right there. There's I don't remember what it's called. Skyhook, something like that. But it's just so darn colorful. It's not to say that the dark parts aren't dark, and the middle levels don't have a touch of shade for them. But for the most part, we're keeping the Eberron adventure setting very solid. Now, I kind of expected something a little bit more from the artwork. I expected more roundy towers like that are in Half Canaanith, rather than these tall German things. So that's one of the few calls I made wrong. There are some round towers, but you can see that one right down there. And these ones over here. But for the most part, it's very Germanic feel. And I kind of thought it would be more, I don't know, Art Deco-y. I don't know how else to put it. Kind of a modern twist. And you are given a couple of different levels. So I came over here. Well, no, I came over here for a review of the airship. Could be. But if you take the boat over, oh no, don't worry, I'll be fine. The other section, when you first arrive, and this shows that there's going to be a huge, we're going to probably see almost all of this year's quests be put into Sharn. When you get off the boat, this is the guy who drives the boat, same boat that's in the harbor now. You arrive at the cliffside docks, and as you look up, you can see a couple of things from where they're at. So you can also take the elevator back up. See? I like jumping off. Don't get me wrong. See, there's the airship tower from where we start, I think. Right? Probably not, actually. It doesn't have two sides. Well, these are the docks, so, you know, this faces into the hill. And you can't go too far down. There's an invisible wall about 7/8 to the back of the ship. Oops, I fell. I don't know how to get back up. Do I have the jump? Well, right about here's a wall. Oh no, I can go past it. Why is there a wall on the boat but not over here? Oh, okay, the boat goes. There is the wall. Can I get up here? Nope. Ah, here we go. So you can't swim quite as far out into this harbor as you can. So the cliffside ports are pretty far up, guys. This, you know, draw distance says it can only go so high. But you can see that they built it up as high. Look at that. That goes wicked high. And it's just, oh, you just can't see it. I mean, really, really. The artwork in this is just amazing. Oh, I love this. This feels a little bit like Marina del Rey. All like, you know, right there. That kind of feels like Marina del Rey, all medieval style. So when we look at this area, we'll go back up to the cliff top. I guess I could have gone out there. Yeah. Let's go back down. All right. We'll go back to Storm Reach really quick. And when we look around, we see Storm Reach, which really, if you've ever seen the artwork in the Zendrick book, you'll realize this part right here is done so bloody perfect. It's really amazing. Oh, I didn't get my reward. You know, Storm Reach, you know, the added buildings are mostly wood, and they're in each of the houses because each of the houses are very separate. And, you know, some of them are ramshackle. I mean, the Leaky Dinghy. This area is a little bit more better off, so it's stone and wood. Just a little bit better. So when we look at Sharn, we can though see elements of the people that came from Sharn. We can see that the elements stay consistent with colors and brightnesses and commonality of elements. You really look right here. This building right here, this auction house, would not be out of place as like a little cafe on one of the tiers of Sharn. The Harbor Master's house also has a fairly Sharnish feel to it. The wood, though, the roof maybe not. But, you know, this part with the archways and the stonework, we can see that they took great strides to provide a commonality of feeling that you know that you're in the Sharn universe. Or the Eberron universe. I mean, it wouldn't be... There's no jarring. Yeah, I did notice that as well. In Sharn, you do see just about every race as you walk around, including, you know, monsters and Dask and whatnot. Now, I can't go to where I want to go from here, can I? Yeah, ask again. It's raining in House J. Looking at this now, when we looked around the towers and we saw the different types of towers, obviously those are kind of meant to represent, like maybe one of them was a Jurassico tower because it was round and had the red tile on the top. Obviously House Deneth is very, very big over there. Oh, what does Clayana want? I guess I was doing that. Alright, never mind. I'm just going to go on heroic so I can stomp it if I get into anything. House, now, when we look at Ravenloft, there's a consistent of feeling everywhere here too. But it's just easier for me to use the gun. But since it's set in the Ravenloft universe, it's really, really dark. Okay, the sun does not shine. Now, obviously, they've reused some elements. We saw this symbol, or a variation of this symbol, on one of the towers of Sharn. But this serves to accent how it's a bright, here it's used as a bright spot in all this gloom. In Sharn, however, it's there to draw the eye. It's much bigger and more prominent. And it's meant there to draw your eye to that particular tower. It's there to set that tower off in a specific way. Because the tower next to it has tall windows, and the tower on the other side is round. I don't know if those Vistani are going to attack me from behind. But, you know, the sun never shines in Barovia. The brightest thing I can find in Barovia would actually be Castle Ravenloft because it's all that light gray stone. There are some areas that are more dun, D-U-N, than they are black and white, but the entire color palette is indeed muted because that's what the setting calls for. Now, that's not what the setting calls for in Sharn, and they didn't do it. They didn't went, well, we're just going to keep the artwork because we've already worked on it. I mean, they reused elements, and that's just smart. As long as you use proper elements, like the big shiny thing. But you're not going to see, like, in the middle of the upper towers of Sharn, something as, well, you're not going to see this effect. Ooh, the dark mist. Now, I might see some steam rising from a place where water hits lava in the cogs. But that's the point. I think Sharn appeals to me more visually because you have the darkness of the cogs, you have the twilight of the lowest levels, you have the sunshine and shadow of the middle levels, and you have the brightness of the top levels of Sharn. Trying to get up to Castle Ravenloft. It's pretty easy though. Walk up there if you go the back way. Yay, 40 XP. I don't need any XP. Red Array is done. He's got all destinies, level 30. He's done in the sense that I'm not gonna. I don't worry about XP until I have to TR him. If I ever do. If I ever do. I literally have no spell casting on him. Everything he gets from the side. And he still does that. He's crazy. I took a lot of the artificer feats for that though. And even the bright stone of Castle Ravenloft, not that bright coming up here. It looks brighter than it really does because of just how gloomy the rest of it is. You kind of thought it was a little bit lighter, but that's just how dark Ravenloft really is. And all the quests look that way. And I get it, that's part of Ravenloft. But that's the thing, that's really what Ravenloft wasn't concentrating on, was trying to do the whole full color thing, because it had a set look. What they did do with Ravenloft is, with the exception of Raven's Bane, with the exception of Raven's Bane, every single quest in this pack is absolutely amazing from a mechanics point of view. All too often, you cannot target things until they try to attack me first sometimes. Like, you can't target them at all until you get close and then back away from them. Or they were invisible. That's the important part. Now, Sharn, because they have such a diversity of areas within Sharn, okay, that's because they've been flagged as hidden. That I know it's annoying. It's annoying to me when they're obviously not hidden. Well, gargoyles are just that way. I can see gargoyles. Gargoyles I get. Giant owlbears. There are two types of owlbears out here in Barovia. This is probably something more for my new show, Artificating Eberron. I'm going to be trying to do that soon. But we can get into mechanics. I don't care. The thing is that there are certain creature types that are flagged that way. Zombies, in particular, are the easiest ones to understand. It's the idea that as you approach them, you're thinking, is this just a dead body? And then the zombies, trust me, in a world like this, if it was up to me, I see a dead body on the ground, I'm going to put 3 or 4 crossbow bolts into it to see if it moves, if it's a zombie, because that's a thing. But it's the idea that the adventure's going like, this just might be a dead body. And then you get close to it. And that's why you'll see me do the shuffle. There's zombies out here. Watch. This is what I do whenever I encounter a zombie. We can do this because I just saw some zombies. We'll go to the zombie jamboree. Now, gargoyles out here in Barovia, obviously. If it's got a yellow name, shoot it. It's just a breakable. If it's not one, you know you're going to have to do the zombie dance. Okay, see, we've got dead zombies. Oh, look, are they just... Okay, what I like to do is I like to approach them and then immediately back off. Do that little dance and then they'll pop up. Even if you're a melee, just do that and then go forward. We'll let you get a couple of swipes in really quick. So you run up to this and then back off and then go right back in swinging your little sword. Well, let's see. Can I find more zombies? Let's see. There's usually a couple of groups of zombies out here. If not, maybe a gargoyle. Now those gargoyles, those are completely innocent gargoyles. Why am I all of a sudden getting innocent gargoyles? Why am I not getting any zombies? Well, I gotta go back. Alright, we'll try. Oh, look at that. We got gargoyles. Alright, see, the gargoyles are not moving. See, I hover over them. No yellow. I know these are real live gargoyles. See, I don't do that, then run right back in. And then I get attacked by the Varghouls I didn't see. See, we got more zombies up here. So if I'm going to be a ranger guy, I want to duck in really quick. See how far back I was able to get? You just have to kind of know these mechanics. So let's go back over here and we can see some zombies. Okay, so we've seen gargoyles. There used to be like I think it was the Chow 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 commercials from Purina for Cat Chow, where they do the back and forth step. No, it's not a setting. It is like the mechanic is, are these really things? You know, because I can look at this mechanic and I know the mechanic, so I know, oh, these are gargoyles. But it would be like, are they real gargoyles or are they, are they statues? Well, these are. Even if they didn't do that, I could do the little Purina Cat Chow 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 dance to get them to activate and either close in or step back, depending on whether I'm melee or range. You just have to, if you cannot target them, that's the way they're always going to work. And most of them, owlbears and zombies in particular, if you do that forward and back step, the chow chow chow. That's it. You will be able to get one or two licks in before they can even, because they've got to go through their wake up animation and they can't attack. There was one thing that was able to attack, but I don't remember what it was. Sometimes there are some zombies back here. Zombies? Any zombies? No, we get stupid things. Of course, I need zombies and I can't find any. There might be some right underneath the bridge. If you find zombies under the bridge, they are the remains of the red hot chili peppers. Film at 11. The great thing about Strahd zombies is they kind of glow a little bit, so usually you can see them. Boy, this is like the least zombiest thing ever. But that's how they work. We might be able to find some owlbears down there. I already did owlbears, but did I do the owlbears? I think I did. No, I think they were active. There are two types of owlbears out here: Zvalich and Barovian. And the Zvalich ones do not come out. They stay until you get up to do the chow chow chow. I don't want to fight them. I hate all you people. Oh. Alright, what we will do is we'll just recall and we'll go out to Evening Star and take a look at one last art style, and then we'll probably call it a night. Now, I'm going to take a look at Evening Star because I think in the long run, the Sharn pack is going to be more like the Evening Star pack because we're going to get more and more content added. I think they're pretty much done with Evening Star, and I think, I can see a couple of things added, but I really think it'll be 3 packs Sharn, 1 pack Evening Star for the remainder of the life of the game. probably has something to do with licensing too. Now, Evening Star, I think the best way I can put this is Evening Star is a lot like the Forgotten Realm setting compared to Sharn, or compared to Eberron. Evening Star is in bright primary colors. That's because everything in the Forgotten Realms is so much more delineated than Eberron. You are the Forest Kingdom. You are the darkness of Shar. You are, you know, at the risk of sounding a bit trite, everything in here are primary colors because everything in the Forgotten Realms is far more primarily black and white. There is definitely a good side and a bad side. Sometimes I may wonder which one is which. But there is obviously one side that is supposed to be good, and there is one side that is supposed to be evil. I don't really feel that the Drow are really all that evil. But the Netherese are. There's no doubt about that. Ari Larasa is. You know. I mean, that's very, very, very much so. So you have, I mean, Evening Star is blue and green. And the purple Dragon Knights are really, hold on to that purple. They always look more red to me. Far more burgundy than I would expect. Now that Shar has taken over Wayloon, even when you're not in Shar, you know, it's even worse than the Orchard of Macabre, for crying out loud. It's not just always rainy, it's night. I would have appreciated more moon, or more moony. Even the Stormhorns, for all that they are very, they're very stark in their colors. And I don't mean stark as, I mean, it's high contrast. That's the way I'm meaning stark. The blues are blue, the greens are green. If you put them in Photoshop and use the selection tool, you would capture whatever you want and be fairly frickin' precise about it. You know? When we go over anywhere in Eberron, though, it's not that there are not bright colors, but everything seems to flow. It's a spectrum. It is a complete spectrum. I think really the only highly delineated colors you're going to find are, well, kind of on your airship. I'm not on Argo, so I'm not on a Storm Glory Typhoon. Yeah, this is brown and gold and whatnot and white and everything's pretty clean. But we'll go back to Sharn. We're going to take a look at the color palette over there. Maybe it'll be dark. Oh, man, this is really pretty at night, guys. Alright, you know, primarily Sharn is made out of stone, but when you look at it, I mean, the colors are, you know, that's not a pure red to a pure green. I mean, if we put this into black and white, we took a screenshot, put it into black and white, that's probably going to be the same color or gray, but when you see it in color, it's obviously red and green. But it's not so contrasty that you can't, it doesn't seem to flow. Yeah, I love the blue. That's what I got. When we look at this tower, once again, if you put it into grayscale, the roof is only going to be marginally darker than the tower itself. As a matter of fact, it'll probably be this color right here. But when we see it in full color, well, as this airship passes, we have all the different colors, but they flow. They're not separate. So we have really 3 different realms that we can look at here. And yet the colors, you can take a look at how the colors are used and instantly know where you're at. Although if you're in Wayloon, you might get it confused with Ravenloft. But not really. Especially when you go into that purple haze. Oh, Jimi Hendrix is in your head. And you look at the bushes. Look at that. If this had been Evening Star, that would be gray. This would be a bright, vivid green. Those flowers would be, assault your eyes red. That glowing effect would be much brighter. And I think that really makes, when you move from shadow into light, just so much more eye-popping. Because, this is, you have the shadow and the light here, and look how much even this area is bright. Is so much more flowy with the rest of it. I think they've done an excellent job in giving everybody visual cues so they know where they're at. And it gives the 3 different universes each their own distinctive feel. That being said, I think the visual differences within the Sharn levels, and we can go take a look at the cogs real quick. Whoa! I just love falling off things. I'm sorry. Okay, we've seen the clefts. The cleft parts are a little bit more muted. The sky's a little bit brighter up top. But that's not to say that there's not dark areas to Sharn. And this is the great underground facilities, and it is, appropriately dark and gloomy. Which way did I want to go? Yeah, this is the right way. Kind of want to go more to the lava fields. But even here, the Underdark always seems so dark in the Eberron and in Ravenloft. Even the daybreak or the daylight crystals are not really. I mean, they're like one place. Even the areas around the portal seem to be very dim. I just want to get over to the lava fields. However, here we go. Oh, by the way, this effect where it kind of glows around you, this is stripped straight from Moria, guys, in Lord of the Rings Online. This is so Moria-like, it's not even funny. I should know, I spent a year there. Yeah, they'll follow me down. Come on. How close am I? Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Actually, I'm going the right way. Never mind. I want to go around right here. The sewers dump down here, so you got this big sewage pit. It's pretty gritty. And people live down here. It kind of reminds me of that place Lila's parents live in, Futurama. It really does now I look at it. Oh my god. Oh wow. Yeah. Mutant City. Yeah, every now and then you'll find these manifest zones. So I got light gravity here for some reason. That's one of the walk-up quests. And right down here is the big lava thing. Lava area, and look at that. You can see it glowing, And so even in the dark area, there's light. There's real light. I think that's why it reminds me of. Moria so much. The places that the dwarves had retaken. Oh, I forgot about this little buddy right here. This is the way you get to this quest over here. But, you know, I really think that's just a fantastic effect. You're going through the darkness and you come into all this light. They don't have a place with like a shaft of light from the top. Well, they do at the beginning. But, you know, this contrasts so well with, you know, kind of the darkness, but inhabited area of the sewage pit where all the light comes from sources like lanterns. So the greater area up top is darkness because the lanterns don't reach that. But you see the light contained within the city below, and I really wonder why that is. Oh, because that's okay. So it's this pit here. This is how you jump up. In fact, well, no. Let's take a look back over here. See, there's some light streaming in because it's coming from the open sewer dumps, but most of the light you see are strung lanterns, and they illuminate the streets that they're hung above. I know what happens if you fall into that pit. You probably die. But I like how they also put the manifest zone in here. Go ahead and take it down. So if you're trying to get back down, there's a jet down there, but you know, you don't have to. It's light gravity. You fall a little faster. But this area doesn't look anything like the lava area. This area is obviously cooled down, inhabited. You know, people live here. In a sense, you have Sharn citizens down here. They're citizens. They're dressed like Sharnites, so only a little bit more raggedy. Although this guy seems to be doing okay for himself. You got these guys who are relatively well-to-do, and this guy's probably down on his luck. Which is, you know, appropriate for Sharn. You know, obviously there's an entertainment area down here. Central Square-ish thing. Where the lights are a little brighter. No, I didn't turn on auto. Oh, because the noise. So like I said, the artwork in Sharn, the artwork in Sharn is so good. No problem, Demetrius. You can always catch the VOD. We're about to wrap up. This is really the last thing I was going to say. But the artwork in Sharn is so good that it makes up that the quests are really more typical from what you see in the rest of the, you know, none. I wasn't going to say none. The final quest has some great mechanics on it. And I won't go into what it is, but it definitely feels like it feels like an end cap quest. And of course they do have a quest where you get to fly around and whatnot, because you're in the Syriana manifest zone. If we couldn't fly around a bit, Sharn would be more than a little bit of a disappointment. And so, while a great many of the quests seem more like typical Eberron adventures, we can kind of forgive them for that because we are in a typical Eberron scenario. That being said, there had to be something special about this. And the increased size of the boxes that they were able to generate. And the cogs guys are huge and seamless. The cogs are huge. The Sharn box to get all of that tower and the draw distance is huge. The final quests box are huge. And because of that, Sharn really takes the stuff they started with in Barovia, especially the Adventure Zone, expanded on in White Plume Mountain and other tales, and have brought to a full realization here with the Sharn expansion. And if that means they had to maybe have more, I don't even want to say ordinary. Mainline sounds better, but if that means they couldn't do quite as much with the game mechanics or the quest mechanics, there we go. If they could not do that much more with the quest mechanics inside of Sharn, just the setting and the feeling of all the quests, the adventure zones, and the public areas more than make up for it. It really is. You know, the quests might seem typical Eberron fare, but the settings that they are in are a literal feast for the eyes. You know, the opposite held true for Ravenloft. I found Ravenloft's art to be, I mean, some of the individual stuff was awesome, but as a whole, I get it. It's the setting, but it just seems so same so everywhere you go in Ravenloft. And so I felt then that they had to do the craziest and most interesting game mechanics for me to feel like I got my money's worth, and I did. Sealed in Amber is definitely a top shelf quest. Sunrise is a top shelf quest. Castle Invitation to Dinner, Mad Tea Party, even Death House, all amazing quests. Here, they're all good quests. Only one or two of them I think are amazing, but they all look so fantastic. So if you want my review on Sharn, there you go. You know, it's an above average quest pack with amazing visuals. Certainly always something that you're going to discover that'll catch your eye. And look at the sunset and the fog's coming in off the sea. Wow. Amazing. All right, guys. Well, that's Notes to Strike Chord for today, which was 15 May, and I know I put that in wrong. 2019, and hopefully we will be back next week with probably, I don't remember what I've got coming up next. It's in my folder, but we do have at least one more completely planned out episode of Notes to Strike Chord, and certainly we might be talking a little bit more about Sharn as I figure more things out. With that, I wish you all peace and good questing. Have a great night.